All right, the Republicans are so incredibly dumb. The House Oversight Committee is unfortunately full of a bunch of bozo Republicans who have been politically targeting Hillary Clinton for months and months and months. There is a difference between, in good faith, trying to talk to Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and everybody mentioned in the files, but that's not what's happening. Comer has been intentionally targeting Hillary Clinton, and today, during her deposition, it was halted due to MAGA Republican Lauren Boebert. Representative Lauren Boebert is a huge Trump sycophant. She is somebody who has tried to downplay this situation time and time again. Even though she was one person who helped the discharge petition get over that hill, she still has downplayed this. She took a photo of Hillary Clinton during this deposition, and after this photo leaked, the entire deposition got halted. Now, this photo got leaked because Benny Johnson, the MAGA YouTuber who is also a Trump sycophant, who I've debated on Piers Morgan, decided to post it and just put his watermark all over this photo. Look at his watermark is here like dozens of times all across this photo. There's Hillary Clinton, and these dumbasses just showed Lauren Boebert's name at the bottom. Like, there was not even a question as to who leaked the photo because Representative Lauren Boebert's name is quite literally at the bottom in the form of her name tag. So only a few minutes after this happened, the meeting was halted. And just to back up, I don't know how anybody can look at what's going on Capitol Hill and not see the Republicans as the people who are solely and uniformly, maybe except for Thomas Massey, but uniformly helping cover up the abuse of young women with the Epstein files. Even in this case of Tony Gonzalez, the abuse of grown women. Tony Gonzalez, a Republican representative from Texas, had pressured his aide into sending sexual photos and doing sexual things, then she killed herself. He needs to resign now, and credit where credit is due to Tim Burchett and Lauren Boebert. They are saying in this case, at least in this case, that he needs to resign. Burchett says, a male harassing a female employee, I can't stomach it, dude. I've got a wife and daughter. He needs to go. Luna gives kind of a weak response. Lauren Boebert says he's a disgusting pig. The problem that Mike Johnson faces himself is that he loses his entire majority if Tony Gonzalez resigns. But that's not a real problem. Who gives a shit about that when we're talking about someone who pressured a woman so much so that she killed herself? It is disgusting that men in power will use their power to cover for other men in power who have abused their power, if you know what I'm saying. It is time and time again, Mike Johnson covering for Matt Gaetz, covering for Tony Gonzalez, covering for Epstein, covering for Donald Trump. Even Lauren Boebert is delaying the Hillary Clinton deposition by leaking photos. It is all just a game to them. Let's watch this. Make sure you drop a like. Double check to make sure you subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed if you appreciate the breaking news that we provide. Here is Manu Raju asking them about Tony Gonzalez, the Republican representative whose aide unfortunately killed herself.
A male harassing a female employee, I just can't stomach it, dude. I got a wife and a daughter. It needs to go.
Tony Gonzalez needs to resign. He's a disgusting pig. The speaker should do something about it.
Obviously, Tony has a lot of reflection to do, and it's obviously going to be something that will likely impact our margins. But I don't make an excuse for what he did, and I would encourage him to consider resigning it.
Given what I've seen so far, he should resign.
Nancy Mace at the end said he should resign, which I totally agree with. Luna had kind of a weak response in there. But to head back, Hillary then eviscerated the entire MAGA caucus during this probe. Again, can I just say in a nuanced manner, if you want to ask Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton questions, I mean, that's fine. You should ask everybody questions. You should apply it evenly. But they're not applying it evenly. They're trying to turn this into a political show for the Clintons while not targeting Trump. I think Democrats, right when they get power after the midterms, and right when we win the 2028 election, so I guess it would be January 21st of 2029 after the inauguration, the first thing we should do is have Trump's ass in a chair to reciprocate for what they're doing here, because we want to make sure everybody's side of the story is heard. Trump is able to just dodge questions because the press doesn't follow up. Hillary Clinton shredded MAGA Representative James Comer and accused him of covering for Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton also called for Trump to testify at a U.S. House Epstein hearing. The former Secretary of State accused the Republican-led panel of seeking to protect political allies in the probe. She played it pretty cleverly because she's trying to use her appearance as leverage. And now she has even more leverage after the House Oversight Committee's deposition of former Secretary Hillary Clinton was halted. Yashar Ali reports it was halted after committee member Congresswoman Lauren Boebert took an unauthorized photo of Clinton and sent it to Benny Johnson, who promptly disseminated it after adding his watermark. I added to this, so Lauren Boebert literally committed a crime while accusing Hillary of a crime. Wow. Good going. Great work here. Then Benny Johnson posts photos with his watermark all over it. Breaking news. The first image of Hillary Clinton testifying under oath at the Republican Oversight Committee. This is the first time Hillary has to answer questions. Photo provided by Representative Lauren Boebert. Wow. Good job hiding your sources here, Benny Johnson. Great job. This is some great journalism you're doing here. Then it was reported from MS Now that the Hillary Clinton deposition resumed, but that Clinton asked the press be allowed in the room for the rest of the deposition. Comer said no, despite Lauren Boebert taking photos of Clinton and giving them to a far-right activist. Just think about the game that Republicans are playing here. They want a behind-closed-door deposition where nobody is allowed to leak anything other than Lauren Boebert leaking select photos to a far-right activist and then being allowed back into the meeting. Like, what the hell are we doing here? But when Hillary Clinton herself says, hey, let's do this publicly. I want the press to come in. I have things to say. I want to be transparent. James Comer, probably at the behest of Donald Trump and Pam Bondi, are holding back the press. Less transparency is what they want. This ties perfectly back to a story that I talked about yesterday where the DOJ hasn't released some of the Epstein files related to a woman who made an allegation against Trump. The files don't include records from 3 FBI interviews with a woman who said Jeffrey Epstein abused her and who also made sexual abuse allegations against President Trump. They surgically removed these few allegations. The reason that matters is because inside the Clinton deposition, they are trying to limit the amount of transparency there is. They have limited the amount of transparency there is coming from these files, from the DOJ. They're trying to play a game and redirect our attention. And I just want to say I'm not defending anything that Bill Clinton has done. I'm not saying that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are perfect. I personally think Hillary didn't really know much, it seems, from what I've read in the emails. She wasn't really mentioned that much, but Hillary Clinton is outmaneuvering them by flipping it on them and making sure that Trump now has to testify because she set the standard. She said, I sat there and I testified. And the problem is she's trying to say, let's do it. Open press, open up the press. And they're not allowing that. So far from inside the Clinton deposition, per Democratic member in the room, she said that Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea's wedding because she was dating a friend who brought her as a +1. So Ghislaine Maxwell was dating someone who brought her as a +1. She keeps getting questions about CGI, the Clinton Global Initiative, which Bill Clinton was building when she was a senator and not involved. She wasn't involved whatsoever. And it actually does quite solid humanitarian work. It was a part of USAID that helped make sure it prevented diseases. It saved lives. The Clinton Global Initiative is something that far right-wingers try to paint as this scary George Soros thing, but no. It just funds vaccines so that they can redistribute their wealth in some helpful way. Secretary Clinton had an opening statement that she delivered, and she essentially just said, Mr. Chairman, like, you guys are playing games. And it's so clear when they won't let the press in that they're playing games. So the only press coverage that we get is Benny Johnson, but then she can't actually have her words heard by the American people. We're going to leave it there. If you would have told me 10 years ago that Hillary Clinton's 30,000 emails would be trounced by 10 million Epstein files that have been half released, half redacted, half held back, then I would probably believe you because Donald Trump is one of the most corrupt presidents in American history, if not the most corrupt president in American history. And if you want more breakdowns, drop a like, subscribe. See y'all in the next video.